What's happening, y'all? Let's look at section 1.6, relations. This is kind of getting into the stuff that we do in Algebra 1, and we'll do a lot more in Algebra 2 when you take that in a year or two. So in relations, we talk about the domain and the range. And the domain is just the x values. Okay, and the range is the y values. Okay, and this is very straightforward, but it's kind of weird. You just need to remember that. There's no special reason why domain means x values and range means y values. It's just something you'll need to know. When you see the word domain, you need to know x values. They love questions like this on the EOC. There will definitely be a question on your EOC test that has to do with domain and range, and it'll be something that you'll either remember or you won't. And we'll review it again as we get close to that, but I just wanted to stress how important that is. So this is a relation. A relation goes from 1 to 3, from 2 it goes to 7, from 3 it goes to 5. And there are a few different ways that we can talk about this relation. First, we can talk about the domain and the range. So the domain is just the x values, and I'm going to write this out using set notation, although most likely on a multiple choice on your EOC, it'll be a multiple choice or numeric answer. You won't be able to you won't have to worry about that as much on there. But for now, I do want you to write it with set notation. So the domain, well, remember that these are an XY pair, X, Y. So the X value is the first value in each of the pairs. So the X values are going to be 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. And that's my domain. My domain is 1, 2, and 3. And then we can talk about the range. Then we could talk about the range. And the range is just the y values. So the y values are 3, 7, and 5. So 3, and I'm actually going to put these in order. 5, and then 7. And if you don't put them in order, that's really okay, but we just generally will put them in order. 3, 5, and 7. And I will say here that we usually don't write repeats. Like if the y values are 3, 7, and 3, I'd only write 3 once. So don't repeat. Don't repeat. Don't repeat those numbers as you're working there. There's a couple other ways we can do this. We can use a graph to represent these values, and hopefully you've been doing a bunch of that throughout your middle school years. So we can graph these 3 points. So let's go ahead and scooch this up just a little bit. Those points right at the top. There we go. Okay, so let's call this a graph. Okay, so I'm going to have to go. My x values are 0, or 1, 2, and 3, but my y's go all the way up to 7. So I'm going to have to be careful when I do my graph to make sure that I can go pretty high all the way up to 7. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So make sure when you're doing your graph you can go all the way up to 7. You don't run out of room there and have to scrunch it in too much. Okay? These should be even. The spacing here should be even. They don't necessarily have to be the same on the x and the y. They can be different on each axis, but on this line they should all be spaced the same, and on this line they should all be basically spaced the same. And you can see I started to run out of room, so I made them a little closer up there. Shame on me. So the first point was 1, 3. So over 1 and up 1, 2, 3. Awesome. And then the next point is 2, 7. Over 2 and up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Awesome. And one more. 3, 5. So over 1, 2, 3 and up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there is my relation drawn as a graph. So this means the same thing as this. These 3 points graphed are there. It means the same thing. I'm going to change my color again. That's kind of fun. I like all the colors. It's totally cool. There's one more way. It's called a mapping. Mapping. And again, you'll see these as well, and they'll ask you questions about domain and range. So let's just I'm going to put a couple circles here. I'm going to put the domain in the first circle, 1, 2, 3, and I'll put the range in order in the other circle, 3, 5, 7. And what I'm going to do is that for each point, for each pair of values, I'm going to draw an arrow. I'm going to draw an arrow from 1 in the left circle to the 3 in the right circle, from 2 in the left circle to the 7 in the right circle, and from 3 in the left circle to the 5 in the right circle. So from 1 to 3, let me even switch this again. From 1 to 3, from 2 to 7, and from 3 to 5. There we go. So that's a mapping. It just draws arrows from one number to the other. And again, this is not much to it. There's only 3 arrows, but if there were more arrows, you know, maybe some would go to the same number. Again, you don't repeat here as well. You don't repeat here as well. Don't repeat there. So if I have 3, 3, 5, 7, I would just write the 3 once. Don't repeat numbers when you write them out there. Okay, let's see. I want you to try it. Try it, try it. You can go and try it. There you go. Okay, so let me give you some points and just do the same thing. So let's 3, 2, 4, 1, 6, 5, 1, 1, and 2, 3.